All right, guys, we're up against it again. At least we're at home this time. We're here at home against who are we playing here today? It is Oxford City. They have lost 3 out of their last 5 and then drawn 2. So, hey, maybe it won't be too bad. We've done a little bit better than them, but we are behind them in the league. We have 8 points out of 7 matches. They have 9 out of 7. So everybody's getting kind of crunched in the middle here of the league table. And we'll see how this goes. You know, again, you treat this for Hallam as if this were a team that had basically no history, which is really ironic considering how much history that the team has. But, you know, when it comes to playing at this level, we really haven't done this for quite a long time. So we'll do the best that we can. And we have a bunch of players who haven't played with us before. Here's Kavanaugh with it again. This is our second team. They have not won yet. And so we'll see what we can do. Here's Chris Salt now. Forward for Kavanaugh, and that was a really, really good header, and that was a good attempt on goal. So nothing happens quite yet. And let's see if we can win this back. Edwards with a poor tackle from behind, and he's sent off immediately. So that makes a problem. We are down to 10 men, 6 minutes into the match, and we're not going to make any changes. We're just going to go for it and sort of see what happens. There was no need for him to have a 2-footed sliding tackle from behind. I'm not quite sure why he did that, and this is very, very concerning because we need to have players, right? We can't have guys being sent off for stupid things like that. Danielowitz with another good save, and this is going to be a little bit tricky. So yeah, we're 10 minutes into this match so far, and disaster has struck us already. And we don't have a whole bunch of other defensive midfielders. I mean, he's not even a defensive midfielder. We don't have a lot of guys waiting in the wings who can start for him when he is out because of his own stupidity. I'm not quite sure who we're going to have play that position because we only have 23 players in the first team squad. We could go get a youth player and have him come up, and that might be what we do in the end, despite the inconsistency and the other problems that I know we're going to run into because we're going to need somebody else. We play too many matches for guys to be missing games because of violent tackles. So we'll see what we can do. But yeah, we've lost the momentum in this match, certainly, and that was a pretty bad move on his part. I'm not sure I really understand what he was thinking, but it was a bad idea, definitely. This was fairly good attacking movement, I suppose, by Oxford City, but not really. I'm not quite sure where the clear-cut chance was there. They didn't really have a shot on goal. So, I mean, I don't understand that replay either, and we've had a couple that are like that. Newton beaten, now Chris Salt playing good defense. There's beat with it, knocks it forward for Hunter, and let's see if we can get a little counterattack. Goes back to Kavanaugh. And that'll be the end of that. So we're going to miss out on that midfield linkage, and that's the thing that I'm kind of worried about here, since we only have one player playing in that defensive midfield. Now, the fact that we don't have any strikers, that we have attacking midfielders, might help us sort of sneak through this one and not have it be an absolute disaster, but it still is not something you want to see. You never want to go down to 10 men less than 10 minutes into the match. That was ridiculous. All right, we have not given up anything yet. Kavanaugh on the back to Blakely, back to Kavanaugh, who looks for Wilson, can't find him. That pass was never going to find anybody, and so it's forced Oxford City into a really bad shot on goal, and so, I mean, something happened there, that's for sure. Wiley with it and just lumps it forward again to nobody. I'm not sure why we keep doing that. And it, I think, has to do with the quality of our players. Here's Hunter now with the ball, and he gives it up right away. And it still is a little bit problematic, and Kavanaugh can't quite get there. Hunter also can't quite get there. Wiley does to Sinclair, looking for Wilson, and it was a poor pass, but Blakely goes back and heads this out for a throw, and it ends up being us with the throw. How about that? So good job by Blakely. I've had my concerns about him, but he did a very, very good job there. Lessa here, a little bit less of a good job on the other side. And there's Danielowitz grabbing that ball before any problems come out of that. So still 0-0, 20 minutes into the match. And here you're still just praying for a draw and hoping that if they do score, they don't score too many times. We don't want to be embarrassed. That's the only thing, especially when we're playing at home. We have been playing well above our heads so far this season, but here they come. And it's Wiley with a good save. Kavanaugh now over looking for Hunter. Can't quite get it to him, though. And it'll be Davies there, but Wiley knocks it back. Sinclair knocks this one forward again. And let's see what we can do. It's going to be Potter, and Salt is there this time to knock it back. So 3 at the back still works fairly well, but didn't work that time. Joe Iacofano with the goal, and they're not even going to look at that for a potential offside. And I don't really blame them. I thought that looked like it was okay. We did a good job preventing them from having the shot on goal here for a while, but when you look at this again, I mean, yeah, you can see he wasn't even close to being offside. They just sort of lumped it forward and let him run over and grab it. And unfortunately, our player's a little bit too slow, and we go down 1-0 here in the first half. Salt now with the ball brings it up over to Sinclair, back to Salt. He lumps it forward for just about nobody. And so once again, we have our sort of second team blues here. These guys do not look like they're good enough to play at this level. I can't think of any of them that I would like to move over to our first squad because they just look bad. 1-0 still Oxford City with the lead, and they have the ball again. We're not getting much possession. We're not really doing much with it at all. It's an interesting thing because coming into this match, I was told that the supporters were hoping to see that we had some sort of change in formation for some reason, which is a little bit weird because we've been doing extremely well. In fact, when you go over onto the page to see, performance or whatever it's called, Club Vision or something, the supporters are actually happy with the performance of the tactic, but for some reason in the preview for this match, they told me that they wanted to see a change, so I don't get it. I don't understand. I think that what we really need is a personnel change, but we have to have money first before we can do that. Iacofano this time is called for being offside, and I thought that was not exactly again, I thought there was a little bit of a ticky-tacky call, not a very necessary one. And we've given up possession right away, and they're calling him offside again. That one doesn't make any sense to me, so whatever. We'll take it. It's a call in our favor. Another throw in, and it's Coyle with it, and it's Beat trying to win the ball off of his man, and he does a pretty poor job of that, unfortunately. We're supposed to be playing a gegenpress, but we're playing more of a game of tag, it looks like. Beat finally knocks it to Salt, and then back to Danielowitz, and that was one of the worst clearances I've ever seen in Football Manager, and that's going to be another free kick. That was awful. What was he trying to clear that to? I mean, he couldn't even kick the ball halfway down the field. I think I could kick it better than that. I mean, seriously, I've seen middle school kids who can kick it further than that. That was pretty bad. And Lesa fouls his man from behind. Fortunately, does not pick up a card. He was kind of lucky. I mean, he was even stopping as if he were expecting the foul call. Beat now wins this, but knocks it only as far back as the attacking player. And so we have to defend again. And it's Newton Beat again in the end, and he almost gives up an own goal. And instead, he passes it basically over to Iacofano. And that was really, really poor. Newton Beat, I mean, there's no excuse for that. It's one of those things that's happening in game because we're playing him out of position. We're playing him as a wing back instead of playing him as a left back, but it's still ridiculous. It's absolutely ridiculous for him to do something like that. That was a bad pass. Now we're down 2-0, and it's a problem. The problem that we have is that we can't exactly do much with the second team because we have to keep the first team fresh so that they can play. That looked really bad. Sinclair wins this in the end over to Danielowitz, over to Salt, and now down to Lesa, who looked really bad and losing the ball. And then it's to Beat, who is really not trying very hard. And he may be the first player that I finally find here because this is getting ridiculous. He's had some good play, but a lot of really, really poor play for us. I know that he's young. I know that he's a new gen, but we need to have people who can actually play instead of guys who are going to give up own goals. It's ridiculous. So Wiley tries to clear it. It doesn't work, and this is looking not so promising. Kavanagh knocks us out for a corner. And yeah, the difference between the first and second team here is astounding. Now, we could just have the first team play every match, but that's when you get injury problems and other issues. So we're not going to do that. I'm not going to always press their players. There's no real point in doing that because our players are not good enough to know how to press. I mean, they can't even play the gegenpress as it is. We're sort of running around and spending most of our time standing there, catching our breath and watching what's happening. Sinclair finally wins a interception over to Kavanagh, who knocks his forward looking for Hunter, and it doesn't quite get to him. And we are behind the 8 ball once again. So it's unfortunate. We came close to winning our last match, and this one we're almost certainly going to lose. We're just hoping we don't lose by a very large margin. Here they come once again. And Carroll with a shot that really would have gone in if he had squared up a little bit. We're down 2-0 here at halftime. and been terrible so far is what I'm going to say. And where is he? All right, so we're going to talk with this guy. Getting set off early is unacceptable. I don't care if he loses confidence. I'm almost ready to just release him. And you better play better. There we go. So we'll go over there and yell at these players. I'm ready. I mean, this is the problem, right? You come up early in the season with whatever the list of fines and stuff for misbehavior, and then you have to stick by it. But what I wish I could do is for being sent off in the first like 6 minutes of the match or whatever that was, I wish I could fine him 2 weeks. I wish I could just kick the guy off the squad and say, we're done with you. Right, get out of here. We're going to go find somebody else, because that was completely unacceptable. And we might end up doing that in the end. I mean, I know that we do need to have like the transfer window ends, but we're playing all on free transfers here, so we could go over and just find somebody who can play defensive midfield and call it good. Iacofano's offside once again. That one was pretty easy to tell. So I don't know. We'll take a look. We'll see what we decide to do in the end. But this is one of those places where Football Manager is kind of weak, right? Because you can't do a lot to tell the player, like, you know, I don't like you because you got sent off, and so you have one chance, or I'm going to just completely can you, right? Which is what you should be able to do, but the game doesn't let you do that. And Danielowitz does a poor job and then a good job finally to win the ball. Over to Kavanaugh. Somebody's playing with a lot of nerves. I didn't see who it was. Hunter tries to pass back to Lesa, who's not really trying. And I think we're going to make a change here pretty soon. Speaking of red car stars, we're going to put one of the red car stars into this one because Lesa's not playing well at all. So good job by Danielowitz to get on top of that. AJ Lesa having a really, really poor match, but not quite as poor as Aaron Wilson. And so we'll take Wilson off. We'll put Theo Hanna back on and see what happens. All right, let's see what we can do. We'll try to calm it down and hope that we can get the ball back. We haven't had much of the ball here today at all. We've been poor in holding on to possession. We've been poor in every aspect of the game, all because we had a player who decided to get sent off in the first 6 minutes. And it's just those Football Manager things. I think one of the hardest parts about the game is figuring out how to stop yourself from getting too salty about things and from, I guess they say, tilting too much when results don't go your way. Speaking of salty, there's salt with it, but they're calling that as offside again. And it's another ridiculous call. We've had a number of those. Here's Hanna trying to win it and does a poor job. But fortunately, Wiley gives it away to Iacofano, who almost gets his hat trick right there. We do clear it, which is nice, but we need to work a little bit harder to get on this ball. And this is getting really frustrating. So let's see if we can make something happen. We've knocked that out for a corner. I don't know how many corners we've given up so far in this game, but it feels like every time I turn around, we've given up another one. We'll try to fire these players up, see if we can get a fire lit under them. Danielowitz with a good save. See, the thing is that like a save like that should fire the players up naturally. I shouldn't have to like click the button and yell at them. But apparently in Football Manager, it's not that way. And Danielowitz here with another save, and fortunately is able to keep that in bounds. Looked like he walked out with it. And we've decided to give up possession cheaply once again. Hunter goes to win this over to Kavanaugh. Wiley over to Lesa, and it's a poor pass, and Lesa just stands there and waits for them to take the ball away from him. So we've seen a lot of that from a lot of different players. He's not the only one who's done that. You know, you pass the ball to the guy, and he just stands there looking like he doesn't know what's going on, and then you wonder why you keep losing possession. Great save by Danielowitz, who really is probably our all-star. He's the only reason why we're not down like 5 or 6-0. I don't think that an average keeper at this level would be able to play the way that he has. Sinclair does a good job winning this away. We would go down to 18th place if the result stays this way, and I think it will. Here is AJ Lesa again over to Wiley, whose header is on target, but unfortunately they make the save. I think that's the first shot on target we've had all game. And so once again, we have problems with the second string club. Hunter heads this forward looking for Hanna. But I mean, there's no way Hannah's going to get there. I mean, he's in the wrong position, looking the wrong way. You know, it's just the same thing that we've had all season long with the second team. And Lewis Coyle with a header that somehow went in. I don't know how that happened. Danielowitz does a really, really poor job trying to reach that, and that looked pretty ugly. So we'll take another look at this one here. That's a shot from or header from range. Danielowitz looks like he doesn't know what's happening. The ball's coming towards him, and he's reacting late, and that's what happened. So 15 minutes here of this ugliness to go. And yeah, it's not getting any better. Salt with the ball. Back to Wiley to Salt again. So again, it's Jekyll and Hyde. You have one group of 11 guys who play well, and then you have this group of 11 guys who play really, really poorly. And as I said, it is time to start thinking not just about fines, but about just getting rid of players and just completely releasing guys who are not playing well. Because when we're seeing guys with like a 5.8 or a 5.7 rating, that's when we have to start thinking that, there's probably a youth player who would play better. I mean, this is pretty bad. We'll take a look at this again when it pops up, and I think it's Blakely, I think, is the one who has the really, really bad rating. And so when we see that, then we start thinking, yeah, it might be time to just completely get rid of somebody and bring someone else on. Again, the nice thing about this is that you have a little bit of freedom to do that if you want. We need to have Beat has fouled him, and it's outside of the area. Beat is the other one who's played really, really poorly in this match. And see, this is where I wish, as I said before, that I could talk with these guys and say, look, if you play poorly one more time, you're off the team. But that's not an option that you have. You don't have an option to tell a guy, hey, yeah, I'm going to get rid of you if you do this poorly again. You can say, I'm going to transfer list you, but it doesn't matter. At this level, nobody's going to buy a player from us that's on a non-contract. You just release him, right? It doesn't cost you anything to do it, and you get rid of him, and then he's gone. So we'll see what we can do. We might look around at some unusual places for potential players. We do have some unusual players here. We'll talk about that a little bit later once we're done with the transfer window, about some of the players that we've picked up, and we'll go from there. Salt lumps this for looking for Hannah. Can't quite find him, and that doesn't work at all. And let's see if we can get the ball back again. That didn't work. Wiley knocks us out for a corner. So another corner here for Oxford City. And, man, look at that match momentum. It's absolutely ugly. This has been a bloodbath here today, nothing but red. And so it is. This team looks pretty bad. Adam Blakely, again, is probably going to lose his job with this team. I don't know how much longer I'm going to go with him. I don't think he's had a good match all season. A lot of these guys have played poorly. Some of them, like Aaron Wilson, we kind of have to hold on to. We have no money. We can't just release him. But Blakely is one who we might just get rid of. I'll spend a little bit of time, like I said, looking around and seeing if we can't find some sort of replacement for him first. That's the end of that match. This is the worst match I think that we've had so far. They had an XG of 4. We had 0.05, 2 shots on target. We're about to get a little bit down and dirty, and for the first time, I think I'm really going to give these players a talking to. Talk to you later. Bye.